When you think about church or church community, what is the first thing that comes in your mind? When you see church, when you go around the city, drive around, when you see a group of people in a church community, what is the first thing that comes into your mind? For some people, it's a community, it's a family. For some people, it's a safe place. For some people, it's a place where you can be yourself, you don't have to fake yourself, where you can be accepted, where you can trust someone, right? For most of us, this is how we define our church community, right? Now, if you look on the dictionary, according to Oxford, community is a group of people living in the same place are having a particular characteristics in common. A feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. The sense of community that organized religion can provide. So this is how Oxford defines community. Do you guys agree? While the church is everything that is good, did you know that according to CBC News Canada, according to One National Heritage Group, over the next 10 years, 9,000 churches and other faith-owned buildings in Canada will be shutting down. National Trust for Canada, the Generation Project leaders Robert Padgett says every community in the country is going to see church buildings shuttered, sold off, and demolished. And this is according to CBC Canada. So if you come to think of it, if church is everything that is good, then why are church starting to slow down and shut down? Have you ever thought about that? If church is a safe place, if church is a family, if church is a place where you can be yourself, be accepted, be yourself, then why are the churches slowing down and shutting down? Something to think about, eh? Churches today are not what they're supposed to be nowadays. Don't you agree? Now the question we all have to ask ourselves is, what are the problems with churches today? And I think for us to grow in God's will, we have to identify the factors that slows us down. What are the problems with churches today? And it's very important for us to understand so we will not do it. So we will not be slowing down or shutting down. You guys agree? So, problem with churches today. I've listed down some problems with churches today. As we all know, there's a lot of problems all around the world for churches. But I'm just going to list some of them. Number one, churches has lost its community spirit. Meaning, the churches today are not making impact on the lives of people. You guys agree? And there is no transformation in people's lives. People go to the church and they're the same person. Your friend invited you to church, your coworker invited you to church, and you don't go to church because this person is a person you don't want to be like. This person is proud. This person is selfish. And this person invites you to church. So why will I go to church if this person is like this? It's the same, right? Another reason church has lost its community spirit is, as we have defined earlier, we have defined community as the sense of community that organized religion can provide. Now, what the problem today is, what we have is religion, not community. And there's a difference. There is no relationship within the church. We have religion. We tell people, oh, I'm Christian. What's your belief? Oh, I'm Christian. I believe in God. But all we have is religion. We don't have relationship in church. We don't even know the name of the people around us. Sometimes we sit close or next to other people and we don't even talk to them. We don't even know their name. We don't even know where they live, We don't even say hi to them. So, one of our problems is we have religion. And the worst part of that is, some people, in some churches, there is religion, there is no impact on the lives of people, and the worst on that is, not just not making impact, but also there is conflict. Can you imagine a church that is not making impact on the congregation, but is also on conflict? So instead of growing, the church is slowing down and shutting down. So this is the problem with our churches today. And we have to be alarmed. We have to be on alert that churches are being attacked today. Communities are being attacked. Can you imagine? So number 2, churches are not relevant in today's culture. There's no significance in going to church. If I need something, I can just Google it. Why do I need to go to church, meet people, and share their burdens and baggage? I don't need to deal with other people. I can just deal with my own baggage, right? If the weather is not good, why would I drive 25 minutes going to church? If I could just watch online or Google what I need to do to know to grow. There's no point going to church if it's far. I don't feel like going to church. But if it's a food truck, but if it's a concert, but if it's a party, tell me and I would go there. I'd be willing to drive, no matter how far it is. Can you imagine the problem of our churches today? There is no relevance in today's culture. We are so comfortable with our life today, especially with the COVID. When COVID has hit us, a lot of people slowed down on going to church. Some people not even reply on our text messages. Some people don't even find the sense of seeking God, right? It's scary when we need something, we badly ask God, Lord, I need a miracle. My loved one has a cancer. But if you ask me, I need to drive 30 minutes going to church. Sorry, I can't go to church today. But if I need something, I'd ask God. We have become so self-centered that we only need God when we need something. And that's what's happening to our culture today. Believe it or not. A lot of young people, they stop going to church. If you see most of the churches today, it's mostly populated with old generation, older people. A lot of kids, a lot of children, they don't feel like going to church anymore. And that's the culture today. So parents, you need to be aware. You need to do your part. Or otherwise, the next generation will be gone. It's all on you parents. It's not up to the pastor. God will give us the grace, but we have to do our part. Number 3, churches are not multiplying. Sometimes we attend church, we celebrate our 6-year anniversary. 6-year anniversary, it's the same 70 people on that church. Same 70 people. 6-year anniversary. Something is wrong, church. If you are not multiplying, something is wrong. We can't go to church and it's always going to be the same people. We're not saved just for ourselves. If we truly understand the grace of God, if we have truly experienced the grace and the love of God, we should be multiplying. We should have the heart of God towards the lost. As Pastor Jeff said earlier, we have to fill this place. There's a lot of lost souls out there. And it's just going to be the same people every Sunday. Something is wrong. Excuse me. Now, because of these 3 major reasons, churches are slowing down and shutting down. Churches has lost its community spirit. Churches are not relevant in today's culture. Churches are not multiplying. Now, my question for you is, in your personal experience, are you this person who goes to the church and you kind of feel like it's a routine? You go to the church, you sing, you raise your hand, you listen to the pastor. At the end of the day, you go home. No one knows your struggles. No one knows what you're going through. Not even one person in the church knows your secret sins. I'm telling you, you need a community. You sometimes feel alone, unheard. For some people, you're battling with your marriage. You're always fighting with your husband or your wife. For some people, you have problems in finances. You're working, but your pay is not enough to cover the bills. You have children to sustain. You have a car, you have a house. For some people, we smile, we look at each other, we say hi to other people. But those people don't even know what we're going through. And what happens is sometimes you go to the church not realizing we are wearing a mask. Nobody knows about our struggles. Nobody knows what we're going through. I encourage you, you need a community. You are not meant to fight these battles alone. And that's why we have a community here. Our prayer is that our community will not just be people who would be saying hi to each other. Our prayer is that our community would not just be, people, just having fun. Our prayer is that our community would be people who not only celebrate our victories together, but also share each other's burden. If you're that person, I challenge you. You need a community. You need to open yourself up. You don't have to worry being judged. You don't have to worry, that other people will think bad at you or that other people will talk about you behind your back. Our church is not supposed to be like that anyways. Our church is something, when you share something, other people would be encouraging you and love you. Jesus has loved us despite our sins, despite what happened to us, despite what happened in the past. And as a believer, we should do the same. And that's why we need a community. We need to develop the relationship with each other. Because if we have not developed the relationship with each other, people will not be opening up to us. People will not trust us. And you don't need to hide, you don't need to fake. Just be yourself. Now I have a video here. I have a short video that I want us to watch. It's only 1 minute. Let's watch it together. You have seen, it said there, withstanding the storm together. It said they're mending the broken hearted. It said they're servants to one another and stronger together than alone. Everyone here has challenges. Everyone here has a battle to fight. Everyone here has problems in life, and you're not meant to face them alone. God didn't create us to face that alone. We need a community. And the word that I want to focus today is the word involve. For the past weeks, we've been talking about love. Last February, every single Sunday, we've been talking about love. Love, 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 love. We've heard so much enough about love. So, what I want us to do is to practice how. We all know that we need to love each other. But how? The question is how. Now, if you define involve, it says here, to include something as a necessary part, cause a person or group to experience or participate in activity or situation, be engaged in an emotional or personal relationship. To be involved means to be part, to participate, to engage in emotional or personal relationship. That's what it means to involve, to be involved. And that's what churches are supposed to be doing, but not a lot of churches are doing that today. So as we start today, our first Sunday, I want us all to be involved with each other. You see a lot of new faces today, talk to them. Don't let them feel alone. I've been to many churches before, and with all of those churches I've been before, every time I go to the church, after the end of the service, nobody talks to me. And I see other people, they group together. They talk to each other, they have fun, they're smiling, they're laughing at each other, and I'm all alone. So why would I come back to church if I feel alone? So our prayer in this church, that this will be a community of loving church where everybody's welcome. As you have seen, we have the Life Link by the door who welcomes everyone. And we promise that we're going to do our best that you will not feel alone. We're here together. When thinking about the word involved, I can't think of any other best model to fit the word involved except Jesus alone. I mean, when you think about it, Jesus had a wonderful life in heaven. Why would he come down here? He's comfortable in heaven. But he went down all the way here to fellowship with us, to have a community, to have a relationship with us, to save us from the penalty of our sins. Jesus modeled to us what it means to have a community, what it means to have a relationship. And I feel like today, Jesus is talking to us today. Jesus is asking you, would you open up yourself? Would you open up your heart? Jesus is asking you to respond to his calling of love. You need a community. We need each other. Would you respond to his calling? As we said earlier, we need to be part, we need to participate, engage emotional and in personal relationship. And if you're this person who wants to be involved, if you're this person who wants to respond of the calling of God to be involved, I have 3 suggestions for you today. We're going to be talking about Acts chapter 2, verse 42 to 47. I know it's kind of long, don't worry, I'm not going to read it all at once. If you're this person taking down notes and you see this, oh, okay, I'm not going to write anything. I know what you feel, I've been there, so we're not going to read this all together. We're going to do it part by part, so don't worry. So number 1, how to be involved. If you're this person who wants to respond of the calling of Jesus, so that our church will not slow down and shut down. If you're this person who claims to be a real Christian, who wants to follow God, you need to be part. You need to be involved. Don't rely everything on your pastor. We're not Superman. You need to do your part. If you're a Christian, God has a calling for your life. You didn't become a Christian just to sit down on the chair there and listen and watch and go home. Number 1, how to be involved. Be part of a life group. Simple as that. In Acts 2 verse 42 it says, they were continually and faithfully devoting themselves to the instruction of the apostles. During that time there was no Bible. Their Bible are the instructions of the apostles. and to fellowship, and to eating meals together, and to prayers. So as you have noticed, it says here, continually and faithfully devoting to the instructions of the apostles, to the word of God. Fellowship, eating meals together, and prayer. And that's what we're doing in our life group. This is our small group. You need to be part of a small group. If you have a wound inside that you've been dealing for many years, you can't forgive, you can't, something happened, you can't accept it. This is a wound that needs to heal. And you need people. You need people around you to help you heal that wound. You need to be part of a life group. You need to be part of a small group. Wounds are difficult to heal when you're doing it alone. As you notice, if you have a big wound, if you went over a big accident, if you have a big wound, you need to go to the hospital. You need a community of medical people. Agree? You can't deal with those wounds alone. You need the doctor, you need the nurses, you need a community. And this is what all we need, because we are dealing with the wounds inside of us that people don't see. But we all know we have this wound inside that we're hiding. Not a lot of people know about it. Probably not even your husband or your wife know about it. Probably not your family know about it. You need to let it go. You need to let it out and be a part of a life group. A life group is something, it's a group of people that will accept you. A group of people that will not judge you but love you, encourage you, pray for you. If you're part of a life group and you've not been honest, you've not been transparent, then being part of a life group will not make sense if you don't open up, if you don't let it go, if you don't let it out. You don't just be part of a life group. You need to be yourself. You need to open up. So be part of a life group. For anyone here who is not part of a life group yet, I encourage you and I challenge you to be part of a life group, and you will see how God will change your life. Number 2, be generous with your gifts and resources. In verse 44 to 45, it says here, and all those who had believed were together and had all things in common, and they began selling their property and possessions and were sharing them with all as anyone might have need or needed. They all believed together. They all had something in common. And the extreme part of this is they were selling their property and possessions. Can you imagine the people during those times? These are the people who are crazy enough for Jesus to sell their possessions and property. They believe in Jesus so much that they're willing to lose everything because they know that Jesus is more enough than what they have. How about us? We go to the church every Sunday. We're not even willing to give a single tithe. We ask for Jesus' miracles. We ask for healing. We ask God to help us with our problems, challenges, struggles in life. But we're not even willing to give our time, our gift, our resources to God. We're becoming so self-centered. We're becoming consumers. We want what we can get from God, but we don't want to give something back to God. We forget that the source of all these gifts and resources is God alone. And the only way God can bless our gifts, our talents, our resources, our life, is to give glory to the one who gave it all to us. We're just stewards. Whatever you have right now, if you have a big house, you have a fancy car, you have a lot of money, you have a nice job, that doesn't belong to you. Even if you're talented, even if you're smart, If the source didn't allow that for you to have, you're not going to have it. No matter how hard worker you are. A lot of people say, that they're self-made. Oh, I came from being poor and I'm now rich. And it's all because of me. They forget that there is a source of everything. And we have to define, we have to know, what is the source? Is this all because of me? There is a source. So be generous with your gifts and resources and God will bless you. Even if you read, books about billionaires, a lot of them will tell you have to give. And these are billionaire people. They have a lot of money, but they keep saying you have to give, and it will come back to you. They know that it's important to share our gifts and resources. And that's how God will bless us. So, number 3, be committed to church family activities. It says here, day after day, they met in the temple, continuing with one mind and breaking bread in various private homes. They were eating their meals together with joy and generous hearts. Acts 2 verse 46. And if you notice here, day after day, they met in the temple. They met on the church, just like this. And can you imagine, we're just meeting once a week. And these people back in the day, they're meeting day after day. That's how much they love God. They were one mind, and they were also meeting in private homes. So what we're doing, we're also meeting in private homes through our life group, through our small group. We're not meeting day by day, but you can meet God day by day. I hope we don't just meet God every Sunday when we go to church. We have to meet God every day. So be committed to church family activities. These are our church services, church trainings, church activities, and other retreats. So be part of it. And you will see, you will witness how God will change your life. Pretty easy, eh? Just three steps. Be part of life group, be generous with your gifts and resources, be committed to church family activities. If you want God to be really glorified, you have to commit, you have to be part, you have to be involved. Don't leave everything to the volunteers, don't leave everything to your pastors. You need to do your part if you really claim that you're a Christian and you love God. So if we all do these 3 steps, what would be the outcome? Number 1, if Life Community Church will commit to do all of these 3 steps, Life Community Church would be a community of transformed lives. It says here in verse 43, a sense of awe was felt by everyone and many wonders and miracles were taking place through the apostles. If you see here, it said, a sense of awe. What does a sense of awe mean? A sense of awe means an overwhelming feeling. Awe means a deep respect of something or someone. So a sense of awe, an overwhelming respect to God. And many wonders and miracles happen to their life. If you're a person who's been praying for miracles on your life, if you want your life to change, if you want to experience the transformed life, you have to do your part. You have to be involved. You can't just pray and sit down and go to sleep. You have to do your part. And that's the very reason why God gave us the free will. God will not be pulling us forcefully. He loved us so much that He gave us the free will. You have to do your part. Don't you think it's a miracle when you meet someone who's been dealing with drugs and alcohol, and then one day you found out that this guy is free? I met a guy last Friday for lunch, and he told me, Arnold had been dealing with drugs and alcohol problems for many years of my life since high school. And I've dealt that. I've had to experience the consequences of it all throughout my adulthood. But he told me, Arnold, I'm now free. All by the grace of God. He has experienced a transformed life, all by the grace of God. I met a guy 2 years ago. He told me, Arnold, I have depression. I always had to take my medicines. But now, praise to God, I don't have to take my medicine. God has healed me. I met a guy before, a different guy. He's been battling with porn addiction. And he couldn't keep up having a stable relationship because of the problem, because of the wound inside of him. And he told me, Arnold, I'm now free. Many months now, I'm now free. I've experienced the transformation in my life, all because of God. I didn't have to go to rehab, I didn't have to go to anyone else. I just had to go to God, be honest, be part of a community, be part of a life group, be part of a discipleship and accountability process, and God healed me. I met many people, different struggles, and God had healed them. I met couples before who were about to have a divorce, and now they're happily married again. They're happily married, serving each other, loving each other. They understood their roles as husband and wife. Can you imagine, without God, they're probably divorced now. It's only by the grace of God. If you really want to experience the transformation in your life, I know there's something inside of us that we're all hiding. There's something inside of us that not a lot of people know, but only ourselves know. And you have to let it go out. You have to let it heal. This wound would stay there if you don't let it go out. You need to be part of a group and experience a transformation through God alone. Don't you think these are miracles from God? If you don't call these wonders and miracles, I don't even know what you're going to call it. But I know what my God can do. Because I myself is a product of that. 6 years ago, I had problems with many things. I had problems with my relationship with my parents. My mom and I would always fight every single day. And my mom would always cry. I would shout back. I would answer her back. I had problems with many things. I had problem having a stable relationship. All my relationships were 1 month, 2 months. There was something inside of me that needed to heal. And I didn't know about that. Nobody told me about that. A lot of people are experiencing that, so I thought it was normal. I was battling with porn 6 years ago. Probably the reason why I didn't have a stable relationship. I didn't have to be perfect to be here in front of you. I'm not perfect. You don't have to be. No one's perfect here. I didn't have to fake myself in front of you. I want to let you know that I'm a product of transformation, and you can be one too if you allow God. So my question for you is, will you allow God? Will you allow God to transform your life and experience joy, peace in your life? Do we all want that? Number 2, becomes relevant in today's culture. Praising God and enjoying the favor of all people. Acts 2, verse 47. It says you're praising God and enjoying the favor. Do you want to enjoy the favor of the people around you? Do you want God to be glorified? Do you want God to be praised? When something good happens to our life, it's not because of us. The praise should not be upon us, but the praise should be on God alone.
Hallelujah.
When God changed my life, I didn't deserve the praise. I didn't deserve that. So because of God alone. And just to let you know, when I was inviting my mom to church before, she wouldn't go because she knows me. She knows how bad I was. She wouldn't believe me. But when she saw the transformation in my life, church has had relevance. My mom started to join the church and other people started to join the church because they see the relevance in our church today. Your life is the Bible of the unbelievers. How you live your life, not what you say, not what you post in Facebook, not what you say, not what you know about the Bible. It's how you live your life. How your life is being transformed. That's what is gonna give relevance to the culture today of church. Number 3, becomes multiplying church. In verse 47b, it says, "You're praising God, enjoying the favor of all people, and Lord added to the numbers daily those who were being saved." I want to share a short story about this. 2 to 3 months ago, when we were looking for a church, we were praying a lot. Lord, we need a church. We need a place where we can gather together and worship you. My wife works in the church. She called a lot of churches. She emailed a lot of churches. Rejection after rejection after rejection because of COVID. We were almost hopeless. But we remember that God is in control. And He will take care. He knows and He is aware of our needs. He is aware. So when we were looking for churches, some of the churches replied and we were so happy. We visited some of the churches. We met the pastor shook hands to us, and he handed us over to the admin, to the secretary of the church. And the admin took us a tour on the church. We've seen a lot of churches, or not a lot of churches, some churches. But why did we end up here? When we met other pastors, when we have visited other churches, we met the pastor shook our hands and left. But this pastor is so different. When we met this guy, he was the one who took us on a tour. Not the admin, not the secretary. He was so happy to tour us around. He told us some of his stories about life. He was so welcoming. He loved us like we were attending his own church service. And we were renting for the afternoon. And at the end of the day, he prayed for us. There was a relationship. And that what this community is all about. I was crying when he prayed for us. That was the first time of all the churches that we visited. That's the only guy, the only pastor who prayed for us, the only guy who welcomed us, who took us around like his own family, like his own congregation. I want you to know and I want you to understand that when you meet someone out there, I want you to treat them like how the pastor treated us. I want you to treat them like your own family. I want you to love them, pray for them. That's what Jesus wants for us as a community. And because of that, our church will multiply. You know what he told us? We attended his service in the morning and he told us, his vision is that this church building, this congregation, would be filled up of services every single day, 7 days a week. Can you imagine what kind of vision is that? And if that's the vision of the pastor, that vision should not be limited to the pastor alone. That vision should be your vision. If you're a Christian, you should share the same vision with God. Your vision should be our church will multiply and many more souls would be saved. We're not Christian just to attend church, just to be consumers, just to feel good, just to cry every Sunday. We have a mission. You have to be involved. You have to be part of it. Otherwise, I don't even know if our children or grandchildren would be saved. I don't even know if they're going to know God. We have to start. We have to do our part. The Lord added numbers daily, those who were being saved. At the end of our life, God will meet us and He will ask us. We will be accountable to everything that we did. We can't tell God, oh Lord, I attended church every Sunday. Lord's going to ask us, what did you do? What did you do to the gift, to the resources, to the time I gave you, to the life I gave you? What did you do to all people who you met? You met a lot of people. Have you invited anyone to church? You have so many friends in Facebook. Have you invited anyone to church and loved them as your own? We have a church community here. Do you even know their names? Have you even talked to them? Do you know what their struggles, what their problems are? Maybe we're in the same small group and we don't even know what our small group member's problem is. Can you imagine? We're not to attend small group and just discuss the questions. No. God has a higher purpose for us. So 3, the outcome will be our Life Community Church. Outcome would be a community of transformed lives. It will become relevant in today's culture and will be a multiplying church if you be part and be involved. If you would be part of a life group, would have experienced transformed lives. Be generous with your gifts and resources. And this culture, today's culture, would be relevant. Be committed to church family activities. Don't just attend and go home. You have a part to do. And we will be a multiplying church. I hope we all learn, but my prayer is that we were not just encouraged and learn something. I hope and I pray that we will apply what we're learning. I hope today as you go out of this building, I hope God has burdened your heart to do something. To talk to people, to love them, be a part of a small group. Be open, let this wound heal. So that you can learn to forgive and accept the things that happened in the past. Some of us, we have a lot of resources and gifts. The Bible says, every single person has been given a gift. What are you doing with your gifts? If you know the parable of talents, it's said there, to the person who has been given 5 talents, it was multiplied. To the person who was given 2 talents, it was multiplied because they have used their gifts. But to the person who has been given 1 talent, he hid it and not used his gift. God took it away. My prayer is that God will not take away our gifts, our resources, because we're not using it for the right purpose.